Good morning, my lovely scholars. Welcome back to the channel. This morning we're going to look at multiplying decimals by powers of 10. And by powers of 10 we mean 10, 100, 1000 and so on, right? At this level we're going to just focus on 10, 100 and 1000. When we're multiplying decimals by powers of 10, all we need to do really is just to move to the right from the decimal point as many places as the power of 10 has 0. So what that means is, if we're multiplying by 10, 10 has 1 0, therefore we would move one place to the right. Just move the decimal point one place to the right. If we're multiplying by 100, we would move the decimal point 2 places to the right, since 100 has 2 zeros. If we're multiplying by 1000, we would move the decimal point 3 places to the right, and so on. Now you could set out your decimal the regular way, multiplying, put the decimal at the top times 10, and multiply by the 0 and multiply by the 1, and add the way you would normally do when you're multiplying by any number. You could do that, but what you would find is the answer that you get would be the same answer as if you were just to move the decimal point. So mathematicians over the years have discovered this pattern, that when you're multiplying by 10 or multiplying by 100 or multiplying by 1000, doing it the regular way, setting it up the regular way, the answer that they get is just as if they were to just shift the decimal point one place to the right. So mathematicians do a lot of their work based on patterns that they pick up, and this is after decades and centuries of working with numbers, right? So they identify certain patterns, and then they say, okay, so we can avoid doing all of this all the time. Since we know that this is the pattern, we can just follow the pattern and we'll get the same result quicker. So this is a kind of mathematical pattern, one of the many patterns that mathematicians have discovered. Whenever you're multiplying by 10, multiplying a decimal by 10, simply move the decimal point one place to the right. Multiplying by 100, move it 2 places to the right. Multiplying by 1000, 3 places to the right, and so on. So that's what we're going to be doing this morning. It's going to be so easy and quick, because that's all we're doing is taking the point and shifting it, depending on which power of 10 we're working with. So we're all of these in this column, we're multiplying by 10, so we're going to be moving one place to the right. All of these ones we're multiplying by 100, we're going to be moving 2 places to the right. In this column we're multiplying by 1000, we're going to be moving 3 places to the right. Now if you move the point a number of places to the right and you find that you don't have enough digits to fill those places, you're going to of course call for your 0 or zeros to hold the place. Remember, the 0 is what we call the universal place holder. So let's go. So we have 36.9. We're multiplying it by 10. That means we're going to move the decimal point from here one place to the right. So it will take it to the end of the number. Now we know that we don't need to put the decimal point at the end of the number. Actually, all whole numbers have an imaginary decimal point right at the end, okay? But once there is no actual decimal component, we don't need to put the point. So this will just become a whole number, 369, 369. 4.61, we're multiplying by 10, we're moving one place to the right. So from here, it's going to go right there. So it's going to become 46 point, remember the point now comes here, 46.1, right? 30.16 times 10. So we're moving one place from here that way. Is going to end up here between the 1 and the 6. So it's going to become 301.6. 39.45 times 10. One decimal place from here would bring it right here between the 4 and the 5. So that would be 394.5. 8.614 times 10. One place to the right, we'll move it from here to here. And it will become 86.14. 0.036 times 10. So from here, we move it one place. It's going to now fall between the 0 and the 3. So it's going to be 0.36. 14.98 times 10. From here we move one place. It's going to now be between the 9 and the 8. So it will be 149.8. 6.37 times 10. One place to the right, we'll bring it here. So that's 63.7. 69.41 times 10. One place to the right, we'll bring it between the 4 and the 1. That's going to become 694.1. 0.314 times 10. So from here we move one place. It's going to be 3.14. And 20.1 times 10. Move it from here to the end. So it's going to be at the end of the number, which we don't have to put it now, right? So it's 201. Alright, so we're done with the batch where we're multiplying by 10. So let's go now to multiply by 100. So 100 has 2 zeros. That means we're going to move 2 places to the right, that way. And remember, we could have set out our problem, times 100, the way we normally do, multiply by the 0, multiply by the 0, multiply by the 1, add them up, and put in back a decimal point, you would get the same answer. Try it and see. Test out the ones where we multiplied by 10, and put back the same number of decimal places that you had, since the 10 has no decimal place for you to consider. Put back your decimal point after you're done multiplying and adding up, and see if the answer that you get is the same as just moving the decimal point one place to the right. Check it for yourself and see. So now we're multiplying 24.9 times 100. We're to move 2 places, so that's 1, 2. There's only 9 there, 1 digit there, so we're going to need to fill that second place with a 0. So we're going to have 2490, 2490. So when we multiply 24.9 times 100, we end up with 2490. 6.3 times 100. So let's move 2 places. 1, 2. Again, we're going to need to fill a 0 here. So it's going to become 630. 0.8 times 1,000. So from here, times 100. From here, 1, 2 places again, we need to fill that 0. That becomes 80. So 0.8 times 100 gives 80. You see how powerful the powers of 10 are? You're transforming a number from a decimal, right? From a decimal less than 1, and it now becomes 80 when you multiply it by 100. You're transforming a number from 6 point something to 600 and something. And from 24 point something to 2,400 and something. That's how powerful it is when you're multiplying by powers of 10. So here, we're multiplying by 100, we're going to move 2 places, 1, 2, is going to be now at the end of the number, which will just give us 5. So from 0.05, we get 5, which is a much, much bigger number. 5 is a much, much bigger number than 0.05. Or 1.2 times 100, so that's 1, 2 places. We need to fill a 0 here, so that becomes 120. 86.9 times 100, we're moving 2 places. 1, 2, we need to fill a 0. 8, 6, 9, 0. So that's 8,690. 2.143, 1, 2 places. It's going to put it between the 4 and the 3. So now it's going to be 214.3. 17.61 times 100. 2 places from here would take us to the end of the number, which would mean it would be 1761. 1,761. Now we have this decimal point 0.00176. We're going to move it 2 places, so it's going to drop between this 0 and the 1, so it's going to become 0.176. A much, much bigger number, believe it or not, a much, much bigger number than 0.00176. Okay, so 82.4 times 100, we're moving it 1, 2 places. We need to fill a 0 here to hold that spot, hold that position. It now becomes 8,240. 29.6 times 100, so that's 1, 2 places again. Fill in our placeholder. We can't just leave it. We can't just leave the spot. Remember, the 0 makes a whole world of a difference. Because if we didn't have the 0 to hold that place, the answer would be 296, which is much, much smaller than 2,960. So the zeros are crucial. They're very important as placeholders. Don't forget them. Alright, so in this column we're multiplying by 1,000, which means we're going to be adding, just moving 3 places to the right. Okay? 3 places to the right. So from the decimal point we're moving 1, 2, 3. We're going to need 2 zeros to fill that place. So that's 14,700. 36.4, 3 places will be 1, 2, 3, again 2 zeros. Remember, it's 1,000 we're multiplying by now. So these numbers are becoming much, much bigger than the original number. We're multiplying by 1,000. They're much bigger now. So it's 3 places, 1, 2, 3, 2 zeros. We're going to add 16,700. 59.1, 3 places, 1, 2, 3. That's 59100. 59,100. When you're multiplying by 1,000, you're making the number so much bigger. From 59.1 to 59,100. That's a big jump. That's a huge difference between those numbers. 40.06 times 1,000. 1, 2, 3. We just need 1 0 here to hold that spot. To hold it so that the value of the number maintains its integrity. By that we mean it is actually the real value, and not, if we neglected that 0, we'd be in the 4,000s. But with the 0 in its proper place, it's 40,000. That's a huge difference. Believe me, a huge difference. So 571.2 times 1,000. Let's move 3 places. 1, 2, 3. We're going to add 2 zeros there. 571,200. So that's 571,200. 200.8 times 1,000. That's 1, 2, 3. 200,800. 200,800. Alright, we're winding down. 39.6 times 1,000. So let's move 3 places. 1, 2, 3. That's 39600. 39,600. 58.3 times 1,000. 1, 2, 3. We need to add 2 zeros there. 58300. 58,300. Alright, 2 to go. 27.9 times 1,000. 1, 2, 3. We need 2 extra zeros here. Call in the zeros, they're always willing to come and help out. That's the thing with the zeros, they're always willing to come and give a hand. So we end up with 27,900. And the final one, 700.3 times 1,000. That's 1, 2, 3, 700,300. 700,300. And we can put in our commas, right? For the 1,000. Put in our commas. Okay. They're not absolutely necessary, right? Not absolutely necessary, but some teachers prefer to see the commas in the 1,000 place. You don't must have to put it. Alright, so the basic concept is when we're multiplying by powers of 10, and by powers of 10 we mean tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000, million, blah, 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 blah. We just look at how many zeros are there in the power of 10, and we're going to move the decimal point that amount of space, those amount of spaces to the right, that way, to the right, that way. You must go and check to see if you had set out the problem the normal way, put it times 10, multiply by the 0, write the answer, multiply by the 1, add up, put in back a decimal point. Check to see if you would have gotten the same answers, and do it for the hundreds and see how tedious it is to do it for the 1,000. Look and see how tedious it will be to set out this, and you have three rows of multiplication, and then you're adding and you're saying, but I'm just working with zeros. I'm just getting back the same answer with zeros. So this is what mathematicians discovered, and they have made life simpler for us now, so we can just go straight to the pattern, straight to using the pattern, right? So we have to take advantage of the work that others before us have put in. We don't have to go again and do it all over all the time. It's good to know the concept, so that's why I'm saying go and check for yourself. But having understood that concept, we should be able to benefit, to take advantage of the discoveries that our foreparents have made, our mathematicians who lived before us, decades before us, centuries before us. Take advantage of the pattern, just do the steps. Alright, so if you have benefited from this video, please say thank you, miss. Just write in the comments, thank you, miss. And please share the video so that others may benefit as well. If you have not subscribed, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. And if you would like me to do a video on a particular topic, just drop the topic. Let me know what the topic is in the comments, and I'll certainly do that video for you. So until next time, my scholars, Take care of yourselves. Be good.